Here we go. We are 15 seconds away from showtime. Here we go.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
All right, it certainly is. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It's Monday morning. Indeed it is. February 26, 2024. And man, did we have a great weekend with President Trump winning in South Carolina. You know, this South Carolina victory, it's amazing what's going on with Nikki Haley, these Democrats, of which she's a part of. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you know, right now, President Trump is running against the Democrats in the primary. And this is something that has never happened before. And, you know, I learned something about Nikki Haley over the weekend. She said she's an accountant. I did not know she was an accountant. Yeah. So, she, you know, and as an accountant, she's supposed to be good with numbers. And she has this theory. She has this bizarre math that because President Trump won 60% of the vote, that means 40% didn't vote for him. And somehow she's saying that's a victory. And I mean, I can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is just so bizarre to me. And I looked up the South Carolina Republican primary in 1980 when President Trump was running. And it was a three-way race. It was Reagan versus Bush 41. He wasn't 41 yet. And Connie, who was the governor of Texas. He was in the car with President Kennedy when President Kennedy was shot, supposedly by Lee Harvey Oswald. So in the 1980, and for those of you that think this was a two-way race, that is in South Carolina on Saturday, that is not the case. In fact, in South Carolina, all these jerks were on the ballot. DeSantis was on the ballot. Chris Christie was on the ballot. Everyone, all the Republicans that were running against Trump were on the ballot, including Vivek Ramaswamy. You know, DeSantis got almost 3,000 votes in South Carolina on Saturday. So, I don't know, it was like a 10-person race. But in the Republican primary in 1980, President Reagan, who was then Governor Reagan, only got 54% of the vote. 54% of the vote. President Trump outperformed Ronald Reagan in the South Carolina primary. And with all that being said, so if he's outperforming, what is this idea that if you don't win 100% of the vote, you've somehow lost? What's going on here? There's a lot of things going on. Okay, a lot of things going on. Part of it is the Democrats who are backing Nikki Haley with their Jeb Bush, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, never Trumpers, okay? They still believe that there is some sort of path where Donald Trump is not on the ballot in the general election, or by convention time, President Trump is disqualified from being on the ballot. Now, they got a big problem, because not only is Fani Willis about to be tossed off the Trump case, the entire district attorney's office in Fulton County is about to be dismissed. We're going to get into that a little later. But that's a big part of what's going on. They're delusional. Obviously, this is not going to happen. Obviously, this cannot happen. It cannot be allowed to happen. But with all that being said, all right, that's where their mindset is. You gotta try to think like them to understand what's going on. You know, Gavin Newsom over the weekend said Nikki Haley is their best surrogate they have right now, best Democrat surrogate. So they want someone out there also trashing Trump. They think it's going to wound him for the general election up against Joe Biden. And make no mistake about it, it's going to be Joe Biden. Unless something miraculous happens. You know, anything can happen in that realm. But right now, it looks like it's going to be Biden versus Trump. It'll be Trump versus someone. So they have her out there trying to wound him. And I think she's going to continue this, even after she loses Super Tuesday. And Super Tuesday, there's a whole bunch of states, even if she ekes out a victory in one of them, which is unlikely, she's still a loser. But I will tell you, watching Nikki Haley over the weekend, and maybe you agree with this, maybe you don't agree with this, but watching Nikki Haley over the weekend, to me, if I were to bet on, I don't gamble. I don't gamble on everything. And anything. I gamble on nothing. I might buy a lottery ticket from time to time, but that's not gambling. That's just throwing money in the wastebasket. But if I were to make a bet on it, I would bet you that Nikki Haley will stay in this race even after Super Tuesday and Trump has a massive victory. And people may say, well, there's no path after that. We're not dealing with together lucid people. We're dealing with people that have stage 4, what's the biggest stage? Stage 3 Trump derangement syndrome. Okay? And Nikki Haley is picking up a delegate or two in some of these states. Not all states are winner take all. Okay? So she'll have a handful of delegates, and when convention time comes, in her bird brain, because that's what President Trump calls her, bird brain, Trump will be disqualified, and somehow she'll be able to come in a broker convention and take the nomination. I know that sounds crazy, but we're talking about crazy, insane people. This Trump miracle that is going on is just something beyond imagination, that we're where we are right now. What this guy has gone through, what they've tried to do to President Trump is beyond anything that anyone else could handle. Just this absurd, unjust, corrupt judgment by Judge Engoron. Right now, Letitia James is, how we have the debt clock, the national debt clock? She's doing an interest clock. Just the interest alone on this unlawful judgment against President Trump is something to make most normal mortal people like you and me physically ill and unable to function. And that's just one of the many oppressive lawfare cases they got against him. They're talking about seizing his home, Trump Tower. That's where his house is. One of his homes, but that's a big jewel in the Trump empire. And he still goes strong. I watched him over the weekend. Every time he spoke, he looked great. He understands what he's up against. Martin Luther King was arrested. Martin Luther King was harassed. Martin Luther King was spied upon by the deep state, just like the great President Trump. Right? You think it was easy for Gandhi? Gandhi was harassed, by the government. Nelson Mandela was imprisoned by the government. So, history is filled with people who are persecuted political prisoners like Donald Trump. And if you go back and look at the historic political prisoners and historic victims of political oppression throughout history, the ones that are remembered, the ones that accomplished great things like Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela, were people who didn't cower down and stood up to them. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. And that's why, one of the many reasons why no one who is MAGA should question anything President Trump is doing, or that he says, or someone he supports, or an issue he takes a position on that you may disagree with. What President Trump is going through is something that we cannot even fathom. I don't mean we like me, like in the royal we. I mean all of you out there too. What he is going through is something that none of us would be able to go through and survive. He's not only doing it, he's running a campaign, a civil rights movement to lead America to freedom. He's also not only trying to save the United States and make it great again, he's trying to save Western civilization. He's fighting the largest ground invasion that this country has ever seen. You know, we've got a war against this country that is bringing us on the verge of collapse. We almost, you know, in the War of 1812, when the British invaded and burned Washington, we almost lost the country then. And we're about to, but it survived. But we're about to lose it now without Donald Trump. So what he's doing is absolutely amazing. Now, you know, when you look at everything that he's done and everything he's going through, this is, you know, I've only scratched the surface, but we've got a lot of things we're going to touch on. So we'll take our first break. When we get back, I'll jump into some of the events from over the weekend. I've got some audio sound bites, and a lot of things are breaking, okay? And we're going to get to a whole bunch of things. Now, I want to tell you, Mike Lindell, who's going through a very similar type of oppression as President Trump, you know, they've gotten multiple multi-million judgment lawsuits against him and MyPillow. There doesn't seem to be any end in sight for it. It's really insane. And Mike Lindell has extended his free shipping with our promo code Kane site-wide to you guys. And, you know, when you go to MyPillow.com and you buy something with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, remember, free shipping site-wide, no matter how large, no matter how small the purchase, free shipping, plus you get the discount on whatever the special is. But and not only are you supporting this program in our radio station, but you're also supporting Mike Lindell and MyPillow, which is going through just terrible things. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, free shipping site-wide. Also, you can order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back. So what's the verdict?
So when I unplugged the Comcast thing, it's supposed to reboot in 15 minutes, which 15 minutes has come up. So Vic told me to unattach the Ethernet cable, unplug the phone, plug the phone back in, wait 2 minutes. If not, call again.
Okay. The phones are down. The phones are done through the internet, through Comcast, and they are down. So, I'm not happy. But they're working on it. We got a team of people working on the phones. All right. It's rebooting. No, we'll see.
I thought I did this already, but...
Well, no, it didn't go through this process. It says loading and it's doing this. It didn't do that before. That's less than we had when I came in. All right.
95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at
All right, welcome back on this troubled Monday morning. I'm not going to say what, but there's trouble afoot. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. So, President Trump's victory speech in South Carolina. You know, the whole South Carolina primary Saturday night, I mean, obviously it turned out well, but what the media did to us, it's kind of like almost an empty feeling. You know, I canceled my Saturday night plans. I had something I was going to do, and I canceled my Saturday evening plans because I wanted to sit home and watch the primary results come in South Carolina. And on election nights, I usually watch on CNN for two reasons. One, I like to watch the liberals get physically ill. But they do one thing on CNN that I like on election nights with John King. They go through the county-by-county breakdowns as the votes come in county by county. And that can be exciting, and I enjoy the excitement. They called the victory for Trump the moment the polls closed. It was in complete insanity, right? The moment the polls closed. So they took that away from us. And that was not by accident, okay? The election night, even a primary like this, especially this one, this is a big time, you know. This is a ratings bonanza for the fake news media. And when they announce it, the moment the polls close at 7, all the cable news networks had announced it within 60 seconds. You're telling people to turn off the programming and go watch something else. There's nothing to see here. They declared it a win. There's no drama or anything. And I was really looking forward to that county by county excitement, city by city, what the tallies were, and boom. And they did that because they did not want us to experience a victory. They didn't want us to feel that we had won something. What that was and maybe it was to try to slow down the Trump momentum a little bit. It's one of the reasons, you know, Letitia James is trying to seize all of Trump's cash on hand, over $350 million of it, because his campaign is so self-financed, they want to take away his money so he can't finance his own campaign, right? That's part of it. They took that away from it. Last time I saw them do this was when Obama took out bin Laden. I woke up in the morning and heard that the SEALs had gotten bin Laden, but by the time we knew about it, not only had the event happened, they already had a funeral for him on the aircraft carrier and dumped his remains in the ocean. And what they did with that is they took away what I think the American people needed as part of the healing process from 9/11, the death of Osama bin Laden. They did that because they didn't want us to enjoy it, you know? And that's kind of what they did in South Carolina on Saturday night, okay? They didn't want us to enjoy it. They didn't want Trump to feel a victory, and they called it instantly. You know, I've been following elections all my life. Even before I was in this racket that I'm in now, I always followed the elections, even the primaries, because it's always exciting, you know? And I have never seen a major election, and that was South Carolina is a big one. It was downplayed a lot, but that is a big one. I've never seen a major election, even in a primary, called so quickly. And I don't know if you felt like I did, but I had my whole Saturday night plan, was watching that county by county result. So they really let me down there, unfortunately. But, you know, the result's the same. We won, but we didn't get that extra level of excitement. Now, we got Super Tuesday coming up. And, you know, this is incredibly important because we only have one thing that could possibly be working against us, and that is overconfidence. Overconfidence. You know, President Trump has done so well in these first 3 states, Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. The worst thing that could happen is people get overconfident and think that they're not needed. You know, we need to swamp them, even in states that aren't crossover primaries. We need to swamp them like we've been doing now. And, you know, everyone you know, you need to make sure that you get that message to them. If you're in one of the super primary states, not only do you want to turn out, you want to make sure your spouse, your brothers, your sisters, your whole neighbor, everyone you know, you want them to turn out. It is very, very important. And you can see the effect this is having, maybe not on Nikki Haley, but you can see the effect that it's having on the media. The media really are in a state of depression. If you watch any of their analysis of everything that's going on, they are demotivated by looking at what's going on. They don't understand it, they don't understand why he's doing so well. They don't understand why people have not turned against him. They think, see, one of the things they believe, they're not us, okay? These forces of tyranny, what Tucker Carlson calls the permanent Washington class, they don't understand us. When I say us, I mean regular people. They're snobs. They're the political elite. They've inherited this job that they have. They've been born into it, most of them, and they don't get it, okay? And what they don't get is why conservatives have not turned against Trump. They think that we support law and order and we support, law enforcement and such, which is true. So with all of these cases against him, they thought we would be dropping him. And not only are we not, because we're not dropping him because we see what's going on, the lawfare is there, but he's gaining support and momentum with groups of people that they did not count on. And it's just beyond their ability to understand. And in many ways, they've almost given up, and they're starting to blame Joe Biden. In a little bit, I'm going to get into this Bob Costas thing. The Bob Costas, he called us a toxic cult. He said those of us that support Donald Trump are in a toxic cult. Well, yeah, he did say that, but that's not all he said. In fact, the media that are covering the Bob Costas story are leaving out something big, and he was talking about Biden, Bob Costas. And the toxic cult wasn't really the main idea that he was trying to present, Bob Costas. He's flipped out over the electability of Joe Biden. Okay, I'm going to play that audio coming up because no one's talking about it or hitting on it or anything. But these things are very, very important. All right, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. Are you ready? Okay. Oh, I got to do it? Okay, I'll do it. Okay, hold on. Which mouse is it? Hold on. Okay, we'll take our bottom of the hour break. When we get back, there's a lot more to share. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show.
Mike's trying to get our phones working. It's not that I need the phones. It's just distracting. It's distracting when they're not working. And when I have people all over the building trying to fix them, it's just distracting when I'm on the air. All right, I'm going to start going through some of the audio now. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, everyone. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
By the way, those of you that watch in Canada or the UK, our promo code Kane at mypillow.com works in Canada and the UK as well. K-A-N-E at checkout. Yeah. it's just really... See, this is why I miss, a lot of people like, we shouldn't have landlines. And because we don't have landlines and our telephone lines are done through the internet, sometimes the internet's just not as reliable as landlines. And sometimes we don't have internet and we have no phones. So, and it's not that I need phone calls. It's just distracting that it's not only that they're not working, but there's like a whole team of people here working, trying to get them working. It's just distracting when I'm on the air. Oh, that's great, Bill. Awesome. Yeah, I met Lee Majors here in town once at 7-Eleven. I was in shock. I walked in and he was in there. I talked to him. Absolutely. It was a long time ago. Long time ago. I told Mike I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to do the full 3-hour show if the phones aren't working. I mean, what would you guys do? Colt Seavers is the Fall Guy character. Steve Austin is the $6 Million Man. Lee Majors is the only man who can make a leisure suit look cool. No. She was fired, Velda. I don't see any scenario where this gets fixed. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just distracting. Carpenters go home during power failures. I've hung up the skateboarding, JP, after my last accident. That's it for me. I have the 2 longboards in my garage, but I'm going to reevaluate at 7. Well, that's right, 47 years. And this year we're going to have the 47th president reelected. Okay, so President Trump, I wanted to play this clip because President Trump sent a very important message to Biden in his victory speech in South Carolina and at CPAC. This clip here is from CPAC. But, they're making such a big deal that Trump did not mention Nikki Haley's name and all this stuff. Yeah, they're reading too much into that. But here's Trump. This was at CPAC, and he's talking about Joe Biden.
Unthinkable what they did with the border, allowing these people to flow in. is unbelievable. But to achieve a great future, we first have to throw off the chains of our out-of-control political class, and that begins with telling crooked Joe Biden, you remember The Apprentice? Crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. Get out of here. Get the hell. You're destroying our country. You're fired, Biden. Get the hell out of here. Right? Get the hell out of here. This guy, he goes after his political opponents. Let's go after them. See if you can indict them so that maybe we can win a little bit of a backlash when the numbers go up.
Yeah, that's right. This lawfare thing. You know, I'm glad President Trump talked about the lawfare, because they have this thing where they're talking about, Trump's going to go on this path of revenge. It's not revenge, it's justice. We have corrupt public officials, corrupt judges. You know, just because someone is a judge doesn't mean that they're above the law and that their rulings are the gospel. All right? There was a judge that just got tossed off the bench in a rape case. I know a guy personally who was a judge here in Broward County who got taken off the bench. Okay? So these judges and these prosecutors and this current attorney general and all the rest that are involved in this, they shouldn't be allowed to get away with this. There needs, and I don't mean some multi-year meaningless special counsel. These special counsels are just like exercises that rarely go anywhere. There needs to be a hardcore prosecution of these people in Trump's second term, because if they're allowed to get away with this level of corruption, you know, what's most frightening about this corruption is not that they're doing it. What's most frightening about the corruption is they're doing it publicly. Everyone's talking about lawfare, everyone's talking about the corruption, and they're still doing it and adding on to it. They're completely without fear. They're like these criminals in New York, because there's no bail, that are attacking cops and committing all kinds of crime because they know they'll be home for dinner. Or these thieves in California that go into stores and steal a bunch of stuff, but if it's under a certain amount, there's no arrest, there's no prosecution. So they sit there on the floor of the store they're stealing from and add up the dollar value of what they're stealing so they can get away, and they walk out. That's what's going on here with this lawfare. Look at Peter Navarro. Poor Peter Navarro was at CPAC. He's going to prison. How many times has Bannon been arrested? 2 of Trump's campaign managers have been arrested, been to jail. Give me a break. We see what's going on here. Why is it revenge when you bring to justice corrupt public officials that are misusing their offices, their badges, their benches, their robes? Of course justice should be done here. This is, you know, if they're allowed to get away with this in our legal system, this is going to be the new normal. Like impeachments. You know, impeachments, because they impeached Trump so many times, impeachment has lost what it is. And it's just kind of like, well, just something everybody has to go through now. Impeachment. This lawfare is going to be the new norm. If you stand up against them, they're going to have the Justice Department after you. If you're with them, you get away with crimes. Right? So no, it's not revenge. It has to be dealt with. It has to be prosecuted. And arrests have to be made. A special counsel isn't going to do it. These special counsels, they become like kings, and they go on for years. And by the time something comes up, 20 other things have transpired. No, it's got to be done like the good old days. The Justice Department sends out federal marshals and arrests people. And there's trials, jury trials. And let juries decide. Not D.C. juries, not Virginia juries, Midwestern juries. Far away from Washington. As far away as possible. Not California or Hawaii, not that far, but somewhere in the middle, the flyover country, where they're not married to D.C. or New York or Northern Virginia. Never seen anything like this. You know, who would have thought, you know, these types of things were done to like Martin Luther King, but it wasn't done openly like this, right? And not only are they doing it openly, the media are defending their actions like Trump is some type of criminal. And like I was saying in the first segment, Trump is not a mortal man. He's handling it. But not many people have the level of wealth that he has. You know, when these cases were going on, you know, he's got different, each one of these cases has a different legal team. And I know I heard President Trump asked about this. How are you campaigning when you have these cases? And President Trump said, this was a few weeks back, maybe a couple months ago. He said these cases are part of the campaign. And I didn't realize, I mean, it makes sense and it's obvious, but I didn't really think about it until he, you know, brought it up. He's got a legal team here in Florida for the documents case. He's got a legal team for Fulton County. He's got a legal team for the J6 case. He's got another legal team for this Judge in Goron, Letitia James thing, and everything. Not only does that take an incredible amount of attention and brain power, it takes an incredible amount of money. And one of the things, and it's very expensive, not just their hourly fees, but they have to hire people to investigate, they have to pay paralegals and assistants and all that, you know, and then and Trump's handling it well. It's not even a thought to him. He's just handling it. And then all of a sudden, Judge in Goron and Letitia James get Trump's financials. They see how much cash he has in the bank. And then, shocker, Judge in Goron's decision is almost to the dollar equal to the cash that Trump has on hand in the bank that he's using to pay for the campaign and for these legal teams. So they've realized that he's doing very well, not just mentally, but he's doing very well campaigning. He's doing very well legally because he has unlimited wealth. I've seen Alina Habba talk about this. So what have they done? They're trying to seize it so that he can't pay all these legal teams. And this isn't just like a trial, like the OJ trial, where you could have some dream team lawyers doing it pro bono. They have massive teams around them that they do have to pay, that aren't rich, that they have to make payroll. And you seize all the guy's money, how's he going to pay these people? That's what they're thinking. That's what they want to do. And they're supposed to be allowed to get away with this, and to bring these people to justice is somehow called revenge? What are they talking about? Now we're going to take our last break of the first hour. It's Monday morning. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Are we ready to go, Mike? Or I'm not sure what's going on. Are we? Can we break? Okay, now we're having some technical issues that are being worked on. So Mike can't hear me right now. He's trying to fix our technical issues. So I don't know. Are we? Can we break now? Oh, you want to wait? Okay, we're going to wait for the break. Okay. Well, it's Monday, right? And Mondays are tough. I don't know. What are we doing?
Just
Okay, no problem. All right, we'll take our break. We'll come back and move on to more. Don't go anywhere.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show. Hi, it's Steve Smith from New Florida. Your choices for new flooring have never been more diversified. Here at New Florida, our sales folks can guide you down the right path and lead you to the right floor tailored to your design style, practicality, and always at the very best value. Call your hardware
Hmm.
Style, softness, and simplicity. It's always Vortex. So visit for you. Jupiter at the corner of Indiantown Road and alternate 818 next door to Publix. Stewart on Federal Highway at Monroe Street, just south of Walmart. And Will Floor, the letter U, FLA.com.
Will Flooring, flooring folks for over 40 years.
Dick's gonna come in to try it himself.
Well, if you can't do it, I don't see what he's going to do. All right, I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas, our retirement expert here at True Oldies. He's offering free phone consultations. No matter where you're located, you can take advantage of this. And that's a huge deal, and he's offering it just for listeners of this program. So he doesn't have time all day to just do free phone consultations with anybody, but he's offering that to you in this audience, no matter where you're located. I talked to Joe Thomas about this a lot. I have known so many people in my life who lose money for years and years and years with a financial advisor because they're afraid of the confrontation. It's like breaking up with a girlfriend or something. And, call Joe Thomas. Take advantage of this no-charge phone consultation. And if you decide to go with him, which is pretty great, with annuities, you're not risking your money. You won't lose money. You're guaranteed income in your retirement. It's absolutely amazing. But he'll handle that financial planner breakup for you, okay? You don't have to do it. He will transfer your money from your financial planner. He'll deal with the financial planner and transfer your money into an annuity. You don't even have to have a discussion with the financial planner. If it's the human resources department at your job or your old job, the one that fired you, and you want to get your money out of that 401k, he can handle that too. You don't have to do that. It's amazing to me. People don't like confrontation. So give Joe Thomas a call. Here's his number. He's also offering free copies of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, you could just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com, and get the number there, jupiterjoe.com. All right, so now, we're talking about this lawfare. It's not just against President Trump and Mike Lindell, because they're doing it to Mike Lindell and others too, like Peter Navarro and many others. But look at Catherine Herridge. Catherine Herridge, senior reporter at CBS, she was at Fox for many years. They fired her and they seized all of her materials, including the contact information and the list of her sources. Now, obviously, I'm sure a smart reporter like Catherine Herridge has a list of her sources on a Rolodex somewhere in a safe, I'm sure, that she spent her entire career building up. But apparently, we don't have specifics, but apparently she's been doing some investigative journalism, like James O'Keefe, involving Hunter Biden. So they go in and they fire her so she can no longer report. And like with Tucker Carlson, she's got a contract with CBS, which involves a non-compete. So it's not like she can just jump on some other platform somewhere and start doing it. She's got a contract, a non-compete clause. I haven't heard her talk about it, but that's just the nature of the business. Non-compete clauses. So you can't, quit and hop over to the competition. So they have control of her. But so they got her out of circulation from doing investigative journalism. The non-compete, believe me, they usually last minimum 1 year. The average I've known with people is 2 years even, okay? So it'll keep her out of circulation till after the election. But they also have her sources, her confidential sources. And this is something that's supposed to be sacred. Reporters and their sources are supposed to be sacred in the government. Well, because CBS took them, the deep state. Remember, the media are an arm of the deep state. Now, the Biden regime, the Obama-Biden regime, have the list of the people that were giving Catherine Herridge information about Hunter and the Bidens. So now they know who to go after, who to harass, who to bribe, who to lock up. Where's the media on this? I know it's being mildly reported, but wouldn't you think that the media would be jumping up and down that a reporter has been fired and their confidential source list has been seized, putting these sources in great jeopardy, incredible danger, and frightening other sources? Don't you think the media would be screaming at the top of their lungs about it? No, because we have a state-controlled media. We don't have a true media. And then at the same time that's going on, the FBI informant that gave Comer's committee the bribe documents on Joe Biden of the transfer of the $10 million to the bank account in Cyprus, he's arrested. And they're trying to deny him bail, to try to discredit him. Don't you see what's going on here? We're living under tyranny. And I got to tell you, it's frightening. Because I'm very public sharing this. It's scary. And there's a lot of people that are scared. This is nuts. And like the lawfare criminals against President Trump, what's going on with this FBI informant that gave evidence to Comer of the $10 million transfer to Biden's bank account in Cyprus, and Biden went to Cyprus, first vice president to do so since Lyndon Johnson was vice president. So first one in like over 50 years, right? And the Catherine Herridge thing at the same time. What's going on here? I didn't see anyone get arrested for giving false information about the fake Russian dossier, including Jagger Comey, who was running around with it, with John McCain acting like it was legit when they knew it wasn't. We are in a police state. And that's why I continue to tell you, do not question anything Trump is doing. He sees the big picture here. This isn't about some petty thing that, like Vivek Ramaswamy. People will ask me, well, you've been so critical of Vivek Ramaswamy. If he picks him, with all that stuff you said about, are you going to, no. Whatever President Trump does, I'm going to stand by him, because without President Trump, we've lost it. We can go back in the Matrix and pretend that this reality is not real and go back into some fake world where this is a free country. And if President Trump has to make a deal with someone who's a bad dude to get in there to save the country and stop this lawfare and this persecution of journalists like Catherine Herridge, and another instance that Obama's running the government because Obama went after James Rosen when he was in office over the Fast and Furious. Now they're going after Catherine Herridge over her Biden reporting. Picking up this whistleblower, FBI informant that's an informant to Comer's committee. I mean, that's it. We're done. Unless Biden loses, unless Trump is back in the White House. So you cannot question anything President Trump says or does. I don't care who he picks to be his running mate. I don't. I will support him no matter what. If he picked Adam Schiff, I would support him and vote for him. I mean, I use extreme examples like that just to illustrate how important this is. And I just don't think. Now, those of you that listen to this show, you understand. Okay, you guys are, if you're listening to this show, you're interested in this type of thing. You follow all of this just like I do, so you understand how serious things are. But around the country, people do not. That's why I was telling, last week, I was telling people on the show, if you have a liberal friend, a Democrat friend who says they're voting for Trump, don't get into a debate with them about abortion or the border or anything. Just say, oh, that's awesome. Don't do anything to be confrontational and discourage them from voting for Trump. It's that important. And I know every election, I've heard this my whole life, this is the most important election of our lifetime. Well, they always are the most important because it's the one you're dealing with now. But this is the first time since Lincoln's re-election that the country is in the balance. The Democrats put up an opponent against Lincoln, okay? So if the Democrats would have won against Lincoln in his in his re-election, the Confederates would have won. So right now there's been two moments prior to this. This is the third moment when America, as we know it, was about to fall. The Civil War and the War of 1812. In the War of 1812, things were so bad that the president had held a cabinet meeting at a hotel and was actually leading the army in the field against the British. The last time it happened. Last time the president actually was in the field as commander-in-chief. We're in a phase like that right now, where the country will exist or fall based on this one election. And there's no one other than Trump who can stop this and reverse this. And that's the way it is. Now, here it is Monday morning. Like me, you probably were a little more active over the weekend. If you're in pain this Monday morning, go see Dr. Appleton. Appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome. Monday through Saturday. So, hey, I know, it works. The laser wave pain treatment works. The laser wave pain treatment with Dr. Appleton actually repairs the damage that is causing you the pain. And it works on pretty much every type of pain. You've heard many of our listeners call and talk about the great success they've had. He's rid me of pain 5 times. It's absolutely amazing. Let me give you his number. Dr. Appleton can be reached at 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. There's no downtime, no injections, no surgery, no pain medications, and the laser wave pain treatment is 100% painless. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this. I'll get an update. So did you know what the problem is?
We've done everything so far, so Vic's going to come in himself and try to figure it out. I'm assuming he's on the phone with, I don't know who he'd be on the phone with at this point, because I don't think it's Comcast because the Wi-Fi is working. So he just said he's coming in to try to do it himself. Because he'd be on FaceTime for like 20 minutes, go through everything. Nothing. We did everything right, just something's wrong. Grayed out. It's never been grayed out like that. It just never worked.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay. I mean, I have.
You know, I mean, yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Will Steve be able to connect?
Yeah, he should still be able to connect. I would ask him if he wants to test it.
Okay. All right.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Dive into hibernation mode with a huge deal on deeper sleep during Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Shop now, save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets and receive a $300 instant gift for pillows and more. Plus, get free and fast delivery to your door. Restrictions apply. Shop for Chris Paul.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime in the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC with an exciting lineup of comedians like Joe DeVito March 1st and 2 shows each for Adam Carolla in March and Pauly Shore in April. And check out the fabulous dinner shows with So Good, the Neil Diamond Experience in March and Patty Nix in April. For tickets and info, go to pbkennelclub.com. Here is your True Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. South Carolina was over the weekend. Michigan is tomorrow. Donald Trump trouncing his Republican competition in the primary so far, even though Nikki Haley says she will stay in the race until Super Tuesday when 15 states vote on March 5th. Here's ABC News political director Rick Klein.
There's no way that Donald Trump won't be winning big over the next week or so. And Nikki Haley has no realistic way to cash it out. She's not going to overtake him in the delegate count. She's not going to be the Republican nominee unless something huge happens to either Donald Trump or his campaign.
The head of the Republican National Committee, Ronna McDaniel, releasing a statement this morning saying she is stepping down following Super Tuesday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying 31,000 Ukrainian troops have been killed since the war began. U.S. estimates have that number closer to 70,000. Aid to Ukraine currently held up in the House. Candlelight vigil last night for Next Benedict, the non-binary teen who died following an attack at their Tulsa school. There's a walkout planned for today. This is ABC News.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants and stuff.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could have a whole section for ferns, but here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. It's the Monday after President Trump beat Nikki Haley yet again in South Carolina. That's right. It's Monday, February 26, 2024. I still can't get used to it's 2024. You know, I can remember us doing. I remember having guests on talking about Y2K and how Y2K was everything. Remember all that? Oh my goodness, we had guests in studio talking about. We even were running spots on the radio. We were on what station? Steve and I were on that year. We were on 940 Wins in Miami, and with our alcoholic news guy. Oh my goodness, was he an alcoholic? And we had a program director that is the discoverer of online pornography, but we had sponsors on the station to prepare yourself for Y2K. Now here we are, not in the year 2000, but 2024. My friend Laura Loomer, what Laura Loomer has been doing, I don't know if you guys have been following this. I might get her on the show this week or next. She's down at the Darien Gap, risking her life. You know, Loomer is a little girl. She's really tiny. It's dangerous just to be a woman down there in that area, and you're a little woman, right? I mean, and she posted something she did last night, and I'm going to read this to you, and if you don't follow Laura Loomer, you should. She's doing something that, well, the mainstream media should be doing. But she's doing something that is really risking her life. You know, reporters don't do this anymore. But when I was growing up, reporters used to be combat reporters. Remember these combat reporters? And they would actually be embedded with military units that were in combat. I'm not talking about being with a military unit in the green zone. I mean, they'd be like in combat, or they'd be somewhere down in Latin America with rebels. You know what I'm talking about. It's nuts. And that's what Laura Loomer is doing right now. And she did something last night that could get her put on the cartel hit list. And I'm not exaggerating this at all. I mean, she is completely without fear. She probably loves riding the most terrifying roller coasters and everything because she is like a fearless person. And she has video of this. She put this on X. Listen to this. Last night in Darien Gap, Panama, I spotted a migrant bus transporting a bus full of invaders from Africa. I like she uses the word invaders. The bus stopped in front of the San Vicente migrant camp in Darien Gap to drop someone off. While the door was open, I hopped on the bus and started filming. So here she is at night in drug cartel run Darien Gap, jumps on a bus filled with illegals from Africa and starts filming them. You know, you can be killed just for that. The bus stopped in front of the San Vicente migrant camp in Darien Gap to drop someone off. While the door was open, I hopped on the bus and started filming. She speaks Spanish, Loomer. Loomer says, I asked the driver who the owner was, where he was going, and why he was transporting migrants in the middle of the night. They could have killed her right there, and whoever she's with, and we wouldn't know it for a week or two or ever. I spoke to the driver in Spanish, and he refused to tell me who the owner of the bus was. But he confirmed the passengers were all migrants on their way to Costa Rica. All of the migrants in Darien Gap must pay $60 to get on a bus to Costa Rica, which is part of the route to the United States via the Mexican border. These migrants are all headed to the U.S. Remember, this is a busload of Africans. These migrants are all headed to the U.S. from the migrant camp in Panama. The driver didn't want me filming and called his supervisor to ask him how he should handle me. Oh my goodness. This is nuts. You know, and she's not down there with some big network, okay? She's got like an iPhone and like one or two people with her. I mean, that's nuts. You know, you're in a lawless area that's controlled by the cartels, and you're filming these criminals doing their crime. You're detailing it, and while Loomer may be well known here, she's not there. The driver didn't want me filming, called his supervisor to ask him how he should handle me. I would have ridden the bus all the way to Costa Rica if he would have let me stay on, but I had to get off. Several of the Africans were wearing tribal outfits. The driver was clearly nervous that I was asking about who owns the buses and why they are transporting them at night from Las Blancas migrant camp. This is like getting on a busload filled with cocaine that's being transported illegally into the country. I mean, the level of danger, you know, and this is insanity. She says these invaders are fresh off the boat, literally, in Darien, and now they're en route to the United States. From Costa Rica, the invaders go to Nicaragua, Honduras, and then to Mexico, where they enter the United States via California or Texas. This is how the invasion is taking place. She says, don't listen to the media when they tell you that it's a conspiracy theory to say migrants are being bussed around the world in the middle of the night. This is human trafficking caught on camera. And this video, as of this moment, has gotten 4.2 million views and 4.2 million views just on X, Twitter. You know, let me tell you, you know, you've heard President Trump do some shout-outs, okay, to Loomer in some of his recent rallies. She's working for him, indirectly, not officially, but she's working for him. And what she is doing right now, I'm telling you, and I don't think this is even a mild exaggeration. What Laura Loomer is doing in Darien Gap right now is the most dangerous journalism that an American journalist has done in decades. You know, in Operation Iraqi Freedom, they had the media were embedded with the military. They were in very safe positions. She doesn't have an army with her. I don't even know if she has an armed bodyguard with her. She probably doesn't. Okay, I remember I was talking, there was a reporter that I ran into at the mall who was a national reporter with Fox. I can't remember his name. He left Fox, and then he got involved in some sex scandal somewhere. But I ran into him at the Sawgrass Mills Mall, and he was just back from Iraq. He was there with his family. They used to have this place at Sawgrass Mills Mall called Wanadu City. Remember Wanadu City? It was a place you took kids to play. And I took my daughter there. She was little. He was there with his kids just back from Iraq. And I asked him how dangerous it was. He says it's not dangerous at all. He says you don't see on camera, but we're surrounded by soldiers and Marines that are fully armed. We just don't show them on camera, so there's never any danger. Loomer doesn't have that. Okay? And if she's with the guy or two that she's normally with, she's the toughest of the bunch. Okay? But yeah, no matter who she's with, she doesn't have police with her, and she doesn't have Marines with her, like embedded journalists had in Iraq. No, this is the type of journalism you used to see during Vietnam, when there would be reporters deep in the jungles of Vietnam with frontline units, or in Cambodia or something. And sometimes those journalists would never be seen again. And boy, her parents must be freaking out. I would be sick if I was her parents. I'm going to call her up. I might call her today. I might text her and see if we'll get her on this week. But it's if you don't follow her now, you most definitely should, Laura Loomer. What she's doing is unbelievable. Now, Stephen Miller over the weekend was at CPAC, and this year's CPAC was one of the best CPACs in a long time. I wish they still did it in Florida, but they moved it to D.C. because it's easier for them to get all these heavy hitters. And they had a lot of heavy hitters. And if you notice, Fox News was not at CPAC this year, but CPAC was very Trump-focused from beginning to end, and it was a presumed thing that he's it. He's the nominee, and not only that, he's going to win in November. And a lot of the top Trump people were at CPAC speaking. And when we get back from our first break of the hour, Stephen Miller, who's on, you guys love Stephen Miller, right? Stephen Miller's awesome. And Stephen Miller at CPAC, which I don't know why Fox wasn't there, and it's unfortunate because since Fox wasn't at CPAC, it really wasn't seen by that many people. That's probably why they weren't there. I mean, I watched it online, and I know if you watch CPAC, you probably watched it online. You may have seen a clip here or there. But usually what happens is Fox News, they're there, they have a booth, they're camped out, they have live coverage of key moments, and they didn't do that this year. And it's part of the plot against Trump and the downplay of the campaign, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the most important jobs that President Trump is going to do on day one, right from the Capitol steps, he'll probably give the order after he's inaugurated, is the deportations have to begin. And Stephen Miller detailed how the deportations are going to work. And it's amazing because, you know, this isn't something that Stephen Miller was just talking about. This is Stephen Miller detailing conversations that they've had with Trump about how they're going to do it. So I'm going to play that when we get back. My name is Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Are we ready for a break, Mike, or we're good to go? All right, we'll take our break and be right back. I appreciate you coming in to fix it.
It just doesn't make sense. But then
Yeah.
Let me just sneak underneath you real quick. Hey.
How's it going?
Tired.
Yeah, I bet.
He got it to be ungraded and back.
Yeah, I
to
saw the lines working. Here we go. Are those calls coming in? Yeah, they're calling like crazy. I can see on the back end.
Someone's finally calling.
You know, we've gotten like 50 calls this morning.
Give me 1 second. I just don't want you to start taking them.
Well, you can play another spot or two to buy time.
Yeah. We still got like three or four commercials. Make sure that we're good to go.
It just baffles me because like they were working fine yesterday. It's like no one was here. I don't understand. It's like if no one's here, how does it stop working? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it seems to be working now.
It's not.
Nick's got the magic touch, it looks like.
No, it's not ready. It's not working yet. Hang on.
Mm. You want to drop something else in because it's kind of loud to come back. That's the last spot. There, it's rebooting. And that's the screen's working now. Oh my goodness. What's going on? You can take a spot or something from the bottom and just make the bottom shorter.
Yeah. So I'm thinking.
Hey, it's Scott from Margaritaville at Sea. Make planning your next adventure in 2024 a breeze with Margaritaville at Sea's fan favorite buy one, get one free sale. Whether you're looking for a quick weekend
I
getaway,
think it might. Well, no, this is like. These names always cross over like that.
No, not usually.
Yeah, so there's something.
cruises for two, starting at just $99. Use your savings to splurge on exclusive Grand Terrace suites aboard the all-new Islander and save up to $1,500.
Try to bring in the same.
License to chill and book your ticket to paradise today.
Well, oh, is that? Who's it? Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me.
Tell me if they go off.
Yes.
Went off.
They went off.
We can't come back.
It's just about to go to the bottom of our break.
Okay.
We got a little more leverage here. Also,
Mhm.
probably top off from that.
How much time you have before you go?
Oh, we just went to the next break.
Oh shit! All right, you can go live. Go ahead. I'll be.
Well, it's a little I just wait another minute.
Why you don't like having someone over by your ball sack when you're on here?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
I don't know why these two names are stuck here. Maybe just because they were rebooted. All right.
That does happen on
I think-
occasion.
I think you're good. To
All right.
So don't forget you. I have
Yeah,
you
yep.
off right now.
Yep. All right. I appreciate you
Try
coming in.
that. I'm going to be here for a couple minutes.
Okay.
So
All right. We'll come back.
Let's see if they copper on this.
yeah, they should be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it coming up on the X screen now. How come?
What's that?
Well, they're the two on the.
They don't ring in sequence. They ring out of
No,
order.
no. Oh, but that's why they're green up on the X screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All your listeners just saw me.
Yeah, that's good. You're good. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
This is owner of the radio station, Vic.
So the PoE injectors had to be. You were just resetting them up here on the Ethernet.
Yeah.
The injectors had to be. They were probably flooded.
Okay.
So the PoE injectors are the power cords that those Ethernet cables come in.
Okay.
So I'll show you where they are in case it ever happens again. But I don't know why.
That just happened.
It might have been a power surge or something. But
That's fine. No worries.
so let's just make sure you're.
Show goes on. All right. Just bring us back when you're ready.
One more commercial.
I'm starting to because you know the conspiracy theorist in me is always like, who's messing with us?
Yeah. We want to sabotage it.
So obviously I'm not going to take the bottom now, or you got to. Okay.
Let's go straight through until
All right.
the 43 break.
Don't forget to put your phones
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
Are you living your best life? Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease.
It happens. It's live, man.
Sleeping the way they should.
Every radio station has technical problems. It's just you don't notice it because you're not as loyal of a listener as you are to this one.
Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients.
No, if you remember on Friday, the light, remember we lost power?
That's right, yeah.
There was a power surge on Friday.
There was.
Yeah.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show. 47 years old.
All right, we just broke a radio record of the longest commercial break in the South Florida market, I think. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
And then, Laura Luma, I mean, it's great to have millions of people seeing you on that, but man, you're her friend. You got to get her to stop that. She's way too dangerous.
Well, Laura Loomer, I have not talked to her in a few weeks, so I don't know who she's down there with, but I know who she's usually with when she's going around doing things. And, I mean, I wouldn't walk down Sunrise Boulevard over by Federal Highway with these guys. You know what I mean? They're not going to be able to protect you. I hope she's with some tougher guys at the Darien Gap.
That doesn't matter, man. They're outnumbered tremendously, and the cartels are ruthless.
Well, here's the thing. What we're seeing from Loomer is not even live, all right? We're seeing footage that she filmed and posted. She's not so she's not even live streaming. And the risk that she's taking, I don't know of a reporter that's taken this kind of risk. I've known other reporters that have gone to these dangerous areas, like the one guy I was talking about at Fox who had Marines and Army soldiers with him. But a lot of times, like for example, Bin Laden was interviewed by CNN, right? That was a friendly interview that Bin Laden set up. The guy that did it was Peter Arnett. He wasn't taking any risks. Or when Sean Penn went to see El Chapo, there was no risk. That was like a friend. What she's doing is being very confrontive with very dangerous people. And the last time, I'll take that back. I remember the last time something like this happened was with another friend of mine, Jerome Corsi. Jerome Corsi, if you remember, when Jerome Corsi, who wrote the Swiftboat Veterans book, he went to Africa to interview Obama's half-brother. Remember the guy that was living in a hut in Africa, and the Kenyan army arrested James Corsi. They put him in a jail cell with Somali drug dealers to try to kill him. And his PR guy was with him. They threw him in the cell, but he still had a satellite telephone. And he was able to call out for help. And then Jerome... But that was like 2010. That was a long time ago. And yeah.
But these cartels are the devil. You can't trust them at all. They're not going to be nice to them. They're exposing it. They have no problem. So if I was her friend, I'd be.
Well, it's not just that she's in a scary area. When she got on that bus, the bus driver called his. Well, who's the boss of the bus driver bringing the African illegals to the Darien Gap? Who is he calling? And then who do they have to run it by up the chain of supervision? I'm not trying to exaggerate this. I don't think this is an exaggeration. Laura Loomer could very well be on the cartel hit list now. What she's doing is oh yeah.
Get out of Dodge, man. She's got to get out before it's too late, man.
All right, Doug. Appreciate the call. All right, thanks so much. Well, appreciate everything. Seems to be working. We're A-okay. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Laura Luma, I'm sure, has some people that blend right in, bodyguards. She's not doing that without a great deal of support.
I know you'd like to think that, but listen, she's down there. They know, this would. She does. Laura Loomer does not have a big operation, a team, big money, behind her. Or like anyone, like Ben. She's got a shoestring budget. She's not rich, and she just has typically with her a couple guys that just like hanging out with her. I know you would think, but you would think that she would have a no, and well, yeah, but and in these countries you just can't go down there with armed people.
No.
I mean, I'm worried about her. You know, one of the reasons I'm talking about this is you guys out there need to share. I mean, she's got 4.2 million people watch the video. I mean, she doesn't need my help, but everyone needs to appreciate and share what she's doing because, you know, a spotlight on her will give her some safety. You know, the more people who know about what she's doing down there and know that she's there, the safer she is.
Well, you know, if they're smuggling people, they're smuggling drugs, and you know that the CIA's involved.
Well, look at this. Look at what happened to this American reporter in Ukraine. Zelensky put him in a prison, and this American reporter in Ukraine died in the Ukrainian prison.
And this, you know, as we get closer to November 5th, things are going to escalate and get worse because I think they know they're doomed. You know, come a miracle and Trump doesn't make it. I mean, you know what I mean? And I don't want to say it because you know what I mean. If they went to take him out, that's the only way they could stop him. And I don't.
No. I want to. Don't talk about things like that. Okay, Jeff. Okay. Now, no. But don't. No, don't. You don't talk about things like that. I do want to play. Well, then stop doing it. I want to play this while I'm waiting for the delay to build back up. I want to play this soundbite, and I'm going to ask you a question. This is the voice of a famous person, all right? Tell me if you can guess who this is. All right? Tell me if you can guess who this is, all right? You ready? You listening? Here we go.
Yep.
PG signing out. Just want to thank everybody at BU Nation. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, that's the energy I need. I appreciate y'all.
Very famous person. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
No guesses?
Guesses.
You don't know guesses.
No, I don't even have a guess plan.
I'll tell you guys later. All right, Jeff from Maine. Appreciate the call. You didn't catch the accent. Let me play it again. Our number, by the way, 888-465-2630. I'll go to the calls in just a moment. Here it is again.
PG signing out. Just want to thank everybody at BU Nation. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, that's the energy I need. I appreciate y'all.
Who is that? Oh, if you know, you know. If you don't know, when you hear, you might be surprised. I think you will. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Joe from West Palm Beach.
Hey, Joe, what's up?
Hey, I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Yon. He's been down at the Darien Gap for a long time. She's been hanging out with Laura Luma because they hooked up to our shows, and he's been there for a long time. He's documented it all.
Yeah, but see, Loomer, though, she's more high profile, and she gets in people's faces. Like getting on that bus. She's like Tom Cruise does his own stunts, hangs off of airplanes and flies fighter jets and jumps out of airplanes and things like that. You know, those kind of thrill seekers are that, you know, that's how Loomer is. And she's unlike any, so she doesn't have any fear mechanism in her body. She is, and anybody who knows her will tell. She is 100% fearless, which is, and that's not some label like Hillary Clinton. I'm fearless. I stand up to the man. That's all crap. She doesn't have that thing in her. She would hang off an airplane if she had to and fly there hanging on a rope ladder. She's that.
Stay in harm's way.
Well, that means that she's taking incredible risks that no one else would take.
I've actually met her during the ballot in Palm Beach. She came up to me. I was wearing a Biden shirt saying, "Come on, man!" And she came to because she was going to attack me. I was like, "Aren't you Laura Luma?" And she's no holds barred. She is like 100% in. So I get it. I understand.
Now let me play this. Now let me play this audio. See if you can guess who this is. Very famous person. Listen.
He's signing out. Just want to thank everybody at BU Nation. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, that's that energy I need. I appreciate y'all.
Who do you think that is?
I can't understand. I think it's not Byron Donaldson. It's not him.
Who?
Byron Donaldson.
Byron Donalds. No, it's not Byron Donalds. Close. Yeah, it's not Byron Donalds. No. You know, I don't usually do. Let me tell you, I don't do these kind of games to fill up phone boards like a lot of people do on other radio shows. I'm not trying to do that now. But this one, the little suspense, I think, is necessary. Someone will guess it because they may have seen it online. All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This morning, it's Britney Griner.
That's right, Britney Griner. That's right, the WNBA girl. Listen.
He's signing out.
See, BG, Britney Griner.
Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, that's that energy I need. I appreciate y'all.
Oh my goodness, Britney Griner. I mean, she sounds like she's got a. Yeah, that's Britney Griner, the WNBA player who was put in jail in Russia for having the CBD. Isn't that something? Oh my goodness, maybe I need to get a little bit of, if I get a little bit of what she's taking, I'll get a deeper voice. I'll sound like Wolfman Jack. Absolutely, Britney Griner. Isn't that wonderful? Britney Griner. Wow. I mean, that really shocked me. In fact, when I first came across that video, I had to quadruple check it. I thought, this is fake. There's no way this is real. And in fact, Britney Griner put out a couple of videos, and it's the same voice in both of them. I mean, that is insane, completely insane. I don't know what their doctor is prescribing, but they're overdosing. Britney Griner. I mean, that's crazy. All right, so let me get back to this. You know, what's going on at the southern border is a problem beyond any comprehension. And, you know, one of the things that President Trump, he was talking about this all weekend long at CPAC in South Carolina, are the deportations. And the conventional thinking is that there will not be deportations, that the American people will not put up with deportations. But the opposite, in fact, is true. Okay? There will be deportations. Things are too out of control. During Biden's time in the White House, illegal, you know, as Loomer says, invaders, the illegals have entered this country at twice the U.S. birth rate. 7 million. The birth rate's 3.6 million. The death rate is about 3.4 million. So our birth rate is barely surpassing the death rate, and twice as many illegals have come here than the birth rate. So this is not just an invasion. This is a complete takeover of the United States. And you've seen this story over the weekend, this pretty girl, student in Georgia, killed by the illegal that says he's from Venezuela. You see, if you're from Venezuela, you automatically get asylum. But how do you know that someone's from Venezuela? Because they say so. They have no documents, right? They're undocumented. So you're from Venezuela if you say you're from Venezuela. You can probably tell them in English, you're from Venezuela, you're from Venezuela. Right? You know, and for the first time, the American people will accept mass deportations. And when this happens, the left are going to pull everything out. I already saw George Takei's talking about the internment camps. This is not the internment camps, George Takei. In the internment camps in World War II, they were putting Americans in concentration camps, the Democrats, FDR. Americans of Japanese descent, not Japanese. They were not Japanese in concentration camps, the internment camps. They were camps filled with Americans of Japanese descent. So that's not what's going on here. Much different. You're going to see, when the deportations happen next year, and they're going to start on day one, all you're going to see on television, they're going to run in continuous loop probably on all the cable movie channels, Anne Frank and Schindler's List, but the news are going to be filled with images of trains to Auschwitz. I mean, it's going to be all holds barred. I mean, it's going to be nonstop. And as I said, the conventional wisdom is the American people will not accept this. Well, that's not true. The American people are going to demand it. And Stephen Miller, who's very tight with Trump, I love Stephen Miller. He's one of the most brilliant people around Trump, isn't he? He was at CPAC, and he talked about the deportation plan. And again, this isn't just Stephen Smith saying stuff. This is Stephen Smith after, he's had his meetings with Trump and the people around him. They're already making plans, because this is a big undertaking. They're already making plans to do this from the Capitol steps. So let me show this. This is Stephen Miller at CPAC over the weekend talking in detail about the deportation plan that they have.
As I say sometimes, the immigration issue is extremely simple. The policies involved in fixing it are very complicated. The simple part is seal the border, deport all the illegals. That's the short answer, right? You get in, you have two policy objectives that you proceed with utter determination on. Seal the border, no illegals in, everyone here goes out. That's very straightforward. In terms of the policy sets to accomplish this, as President Trump showed in his first term, it's a series of interlocking domestic and foreign policies to accomplish this goal. In no particular order, to rattle off a few fast, you have your Safe Third agreements, you have Remain in Mexico, finish the wall, you have robust prosecutions of illegal aliens, you do interior repatriation flights to Mexico and not back to the north of Mexico. It's very important. You re-implement Title 42. You have several muscular 212Fs, that's the travel ban authority. We did a few of those in the Trump administration. You would bring those back and add new ones on top of that. You would establish large-scale staging grounds for removal flights. So you grab illegal immigrants and then you move them to the staging grounds, and that's where the planes are waiting for federal law enforcement to then move those illegals home. You deputize the National Guard to carry out immigration enforcement, and then you also deploy the military to the southern border, not just with a mission to observe, but with an impedance and denial mission. In other words, you reassert the fundamental constitutional principle that you don't have a right to enter into our sovereign territory, to even request the asylum claim. The military has the right to establish a fortress position on the border and to say no one can cross here at all.
I mean, that's the Trump deportation plan right there. Stephen Miller just shared it with us. And it sounds, to me, I know this is CPAC, so the people applauding are, us, but this is something the American people will accept because it has to be done. What's going on here is insane. This is just insane what's going on. And you look at the crew of people that are coming here. Listen, people always want to come to America. There have always been people that have come from, across here illegally from the southern border since we've had a border with Mexico, right? Since Texas became a state. It's always been that way. But we're not at the point now where people are coming here because they want a better legal life. They're not, trying to take jobs away from the Cesar Chavez union members. They're coming here to get all this money, but to do crime. You see it in New York. And this isn't me making it up. That law enforcement in New York have said that illegals are coming to New York just to do crime, and then they go and live somewhere else. A lot of them are in Florida, they say, because they know that there's no penalties in New York, so they're going there. Same thing in California. All right? And that's the way it is. We're in another phase than we've ever been in before. President Trump was talking over the weekend about how, I can't remember if this was the CPAC speech. I watched President Trump speak it like 3 times over the weekend, so they're all blending together. But he was saying they're emptying out their prisons. And they did, just like Castro did. They're emptying out their prisons, but not just Cuba, worldwide. Latin America, of course, but also in the Middle East and Africa. They're emptying out their prisons, and they're sending them to Panama and bringing them up here, like with Laura Loomer, on buses. She was on a bus filled with African illegals. okay? So the world are emptying out their prisons and sending them here illegally. And they have an entire supply chain. And you know who's behind it? Oh, people say Soros, people say China, people say the dark cartels. Those are like the front people. The people that are really behind this is our very own United States government that is on the take. You know, Peter Schweizer's new book, Blood Money, is coming out. This book is very, very important. And in Peter Schweizer's new book, he's detailing how our elected officials are on the take. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break of the second hour. My name is Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE1. Sorry to be so serious on Monday, but we're about to lose our country. 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The Cold.
His experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane Show is on air.
All right, call us on hold, stand by. You know, Friendly Tire in Margate, I've been a customer there for about 15 years. You will not find lower prices on tires anywhere. You know, he has thousands of good used tires in stock, and he also does tire repairs. But he also has the name brands you know and love, Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli. You know, and I've been buying my tires there for 15 years. Run flats, if you got run flats, oh man, the lowest prices on run flats. I'm talking about new tires. But remember this, when you call Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire, the price he quotes you over the phone is out the door and on the road. There are no added fees, out the door and on the road. That means he doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tire. You know, you go to these other tire shops, they give you a good price, then you go in there and it's like twice as much because they got all these ridiculous fees. No added charges. The price he quotes you over the phone is out the door and on the road. Give him a call, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Friendly Tire in Margate. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the radio. He'll take extra good care of you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dan Johnson from Washington. Good.
All right, Dan, what's up? Thank you.
Well, just calling to agree and say I think a part of the reason they're flooding our country in the Democratic districts is a house.
Well, there's a lot of reasons. But the main reason they're doing it, and this is the way it is. I mean, the Democrats believe that the white majority of the country is stopping them from absolute power, that the MAGA movement is a white movement, so they're trying to make whites the minority. That's a big part of it. They're bringing in a peasant class that they're putting up in retirement plans, $1,500 a month, room and board paid for, et cetera, et cetera. They're bringing in a peasant class that are dependent upon them for their existence and food and shelter and everything, so they can control them. Too, there's multiple reasons, not just one. Not that you're wrong. Your reason is one of them, but there's many.
I agree with you, 100%.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Richie. Good morning.
Hey, Richie.
By any chance, did you see the Tucker Carlson interview with the biologist down at the Darien Gap?
I did not.
Okay. Oh, my God. You're right on the topic today. I mean, with Laura Luma. But in other words, this guy had witnessed this. First of all, they're all going into Quito, Ecuador from all over the world.
Yeah.
Quito, Ecuador, you need no papers. So that's where they're going there. Then every country on the way up, okay, up to Panama, okay, they don't even check people anymore. They used to have like border guards. They're letting buses go straight through. Okay.
Yeah, Mexico, years like when Bush 43, G.W. Bush, back in those days, we had a border problem, not like this, but Mexico had a fortified southern border of their own. It was very difficult to get into Mexico from Mexico's southern border. They had the army protecting it, and they no longer do that. They have traffic cops that just tell you which road to take and make sure you're heading north.
Okay, now in Panama, mind you, there's two camps. One is run by the United States government, and the other one is run by the United Nations. They believe in immigration, and they have flags, American flags, and UN flags, toilets, and everything else. I mean, outhouses. They're feeding them. They've got tents.
Yeah. There's this thing that I play. I played that clip of Britney Griner, not just to point out that she sounds like a man, but look at what Biden did to save Britney Griner from Russia. If Laura Loomer was imprisoned down there today or disappeared, would Biden do anything to help Laura Loomer? No.
Never, because she's not in it. Now, the other thing, he said there's two camps. Now, the other, and this is in Panama, the other camp happens to be all Chinese, run by the Chinese, and none of them, and they're all Chinese, and they're all men.
That's right.
I mean, the guy witness, none of them are speaking to anybody. They're clamming up.
Yeah, and they have, the Chinese, not only do they have a camp down there, I've seen people cover this, there's a couple of hotels, one in particular that's all Chinese in the hotel, and those are the leadership that are running things down there. And there's the China and the cartels are running a military-like supply chain down there, bringing to transport people like this takes military-type training. It's very difficult. A lot goes into it.
Here's the scary part, okay? They're coming into the United States. Our government has told them that if they join the service, to join the Army and the Navy and the Marines. And these are people that are not vetted. You have these people getting into a military. Then what do we do when the military could possibly turn on them?
Yeah.
This is deeper than anyone else. You got to hear this Tucker Carlson thing. It's freaky.
Well, I think I've already heard it from you, but everything you say is true and more, and that's why this is not a typical election where I don't think anyone should give one bit of criticism to anything Trump says or does, and that includes picking people that you may not like, okay? Because this country's future is in the balance right now. We will either move forward as America or not, depending on how this election turns out. And Donald Trump may have to make deals with people you don't like, I don't like, to get back in the White House. I don't know. I haven't seen him do it yet. I mean, but if Trump's not there, we're done.
The inference is that our government internally is on the take, fighting from China. The politicians are being paid off and this is sad. They're selling us down. It
is treason, and I don't mean figuratively. A lot of people say everyone's committing treason and everyone's this. What we have in the United States upper levels of government is we have top people in government, starting with Joe Biden and working their way on down, that have been bribed or blackmailed. If they don't take the bribe, they blackmail them, or maybe both. They can blackmail you and still pay you, and they have sold out. I mean, like this story, there was another balloon over the weekend. Give me a break. They're trying to tell us it was some hobbyist or something. BS.
And here's the other thing, okay? The other thing is you don't see any mainstream reporter down by Darien Gap. And they showed on CBS there was 28 minutes about this girl being murdered in Georgia, and there was nothing on ABC or NBC.
That's right.
They're suppressing information from the American people, and they don't want the narrative to show that they're bringing terrible people into this country. It's not anybody can come there. Anybody that can come, and they are emptying out prisons.
Yes.
In Venezuela, she'd be the first to tell you. This is
well, maybe we should empty out our prisons and fly him down there. Why not? Right?
I mean, we're in big trouble.
People have no idea because we're so removed from it. And James O'Keefe a few weeks ago was showing some of the detention centers that they have. Was it Arizona or Nevada he was at? In some converted motels. They're hiding these people in remote locations. The media really are not doing their job. It's not enough just to stand at the southern. They got that guy from Fox that has the big poofy hair. It's not enough just to stand there at the border and say it's happening. There is a very well-oiled, coordinated machine that is invading this country. And I'm telling you, the deaths are probably greater than 9/11 after a very short period of time because there's so many crimes being committed by the illegals that are coming here.
The United Nations and the United States government has a lot to answer to the American people to, and I don't know why we're still in the United Nations because it's really disgusting already. To me, that's the worst place in the world. All the killers that were in the United.
No, and when I tell you that Loomer is risking her life like no American journalist has done in decades, that is not an under. Maybe it is an under. Maybe she's risking her life more than I'm even stating. When she got on that bus with the illegals and started confronting them, whew.
For only a small portion of Americans who give a damn to see. The rest of them don't even know it.
That's right.
The mainstream media.
All right, we're at it. We're out of time for the hour. Appreciate the call. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and Heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rogue Studio. Injured recently? Call the Rogues Law Group.
If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys.
Problems again. They told me the way to.
You can do all that?
Yeah.
All right.
Really
he took the whole thing apart.
Yeah, he was trying to find a certain power box, but he literally was like just.
So what happened? The engineers were working, and then.
He doesn't know. he said all weekend it was fine. He said Alan Knight was getting calls.
He takes calls?
I guess so. He just said that everything was fine. He doesn't understand why this morning it stopped. And that's why, remember, he said, he's like, he didn't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but he's like, he feels like someone's trying to sabotage.
I feel that way too sometimes, because it's.
Well, after that time where he said it was just a switch on the other people's side, they went the whole time. That's when I was like, yeah, they're trying to sabotage.
People do that.
Didn't you say a listener was one of the guys who worked at a Wi-Fi company? And
One of the liberal jerks, yeah, works at one of the phone companies. Yeah.
But there's two cables. It's literally just an in and out, but like.
Okay.
It's that cable, but if it doesn't work because of that, you have to unplug the phone.
See, that's why you notice every day before I go on the air, I always check the phones.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Always, every day.
Now I have many different. I mean, I did everything I need to, but there was one thing I didn't know. Now I do.
Okay.
Hopefully, this never has to
Yeah.
happen again.
They think somebody sabotaged the phones. That's what he was just telling me. And I agree with that. CR, thanks so much. Appreciate that. Blue Gremlin, yeah. Blue Saboteur. Mm-hmm. No, somebody disconnected something deep inside the controls. I'm not going to speculate on who. I do have a suspect. No, it's not Russians. More like Democrats. He doesn't have a way into the building, bitch. The guy that came here and fixed it's the owner of the radio station. He took everything apart down there. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. Well, no, today started off rough for the first half of the show. We could not take calls. There was some sabotage that resulted in us not having working phones. They got repaired, but half the studio had to be taken apart to find out what was done, but everything's fine and dandy now and working now. So, yeah, exactly. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. So much going on. I haven't even really scratched on my show prep. I don't know if you had anywhere you wanted to go. What do you want to do?
It's just a bizarre day. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. So I'll just dive in.
Yeah, the thing about, phone issues, this is the thing, okay? This is just the thing. This is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. And throughout our history, there have always been people that try to sabotage the show. at different levels. Sometimes it's people that we think are friends of ours that we find out are corralling a group of people against us, you know. Sometimes it's been past board ops that we've had. Sometimes it's other radio personalities that have some issues, and it's just part of the thing. You know what I mean? And it's just part of being a conservative and being on the air. You're always going to have haters. Yeah, it's just the way it is. All right, so just to give you guys some recaps on things, obviously we were talking about the incredible victory of President Trump over the weekend. And, he had the greatest victory ever in the Republican South Carolina primary.
It seems to be, in the last 24 hours, seems to have kind of turned around.
No, nothing's turned around. Nothing's turned around. And Nikki Haley, I'm telling you guys this. I know the Koch brothers, which I don't think that's how you pronounce their names. Their name is spelled Koch. I don't think it's pronounced Koch, but the other way you can't say on the air. So everybody says Koch brothers. Give me a break. Koch is Coke, right? Not that. But the Koch brothers have dropped their funding. It's being reported of Nikki Haley. I'm telling you, after she loses Super Tuesday, she's likely to stay in this race because she still thinks there's a path where Trump will be disqualified and she'll have some delegates because some states, when you lose, you still get some delegates. So she'll be in second place at the convention. He's disqualified. She thinks she's going to get the nomination. All right? So, didn't you see her speech? She's insane. You see it in her eyes. She's nuts. And she says, well, 40% of people didn't vote for Trump, so he lost. Now, I went back and looked in South Carolina in 1980, when the Republican primary in 1980, President Reagan got less than Trump. Trump got 60%. Governor Reagan in 1980 got 54%. And I've never heard anyone say before, well, if you don't get 100% of the Republican vote, you've lost. That's the most bizarre math I've ever heard. All right, let's take some calls. 1-888-GO, Kane 1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Hey, what's up, Boca?
Hey, you remember the old Allstate commercials? There was a crime or a commercial. It was like, a break-in every 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you take the amount of immigrants coming into America in 1 year, they're coming in at every about 8 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
31 million seconds in a year, and we've had 3.2 million come in.
Listen, this is not crazy conspiracy theory, okay? They're trying to replace the American people with peasants from around the world that they can control and that are dependent upon them for their very existence. That's why they're setting them up in these very comfortable lives that they're giving.
One more conspiracy theory answer.
Mm-hmm.
Why they're hiding all these people right now in airports and Walmarts, and right around Election Day, is there going to be a...
No. They're not going to do that. But what they're going to do is the number of people coming here is going to grow and grow as we get closer to November, because the clock will be ticking till Trump's return. And, so their time is running out, so they're going to amp up what they're doing at the border. All right, Boca, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard in Pamela.
Hey, Richard, what's up?
Okay, just to let you know, you're not on YouTube right now. It says Hotwire Vision.
No, we're on YouTube. I'm watching it. We're on YouTube right now.
Uh-huh.
You don't have the right. Then turn it off and reboot your computer, because I'm looking at myself right now on YouTube. As you said it, I pulled it up.
Okay, I guess.
All right. Okay, yeah, it's something with you. I don't know. Maybe listen. These people working against us are doing all kinds of sabotage. I don't like to act like things happen just to try to build, but things do. And the struggle to save this country, there are a lot of people who don't want to save this country. And that's the way it is, and they're out there. Now, I wanted to play this clip of Bob Costas because Bob Costas, who I forgot, he's a real jerk, Bob Costas. And did you see this thing with him over the weekend, Steve? Okay, they've been playing a soundbite of Bob Costas. He said those of us who support Trump are in a toxic cult, right? But they don't play the whole clip. And the main purpose of what he was saying was to trash Joe Biden. He's a liberal jerk, Bob Costas, who's very upset that Joe Biden is their candidate. But they're cutting that out. So I'm going to play, this is the whole Bob Costas thing, and then I'll tell you a couple things about this jerk. Hold on, let me cue it up. Hold on, here we go.
Become more disgraceful since 2016 and since 2020. He is a bubbling cauldron of loathsome traits.
Bob Costas thinks he's a poet. A bubbling cauldron of loathsome traits.
The most disgraceful figure in modern presidential history. He's only become more disgraceful since 2016 and since 2020. He is a bubbling cauldron of loathsome traits, and it's only those who are actually suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, which is the way they and Fox News and all the rest of MAGA media try to brush aside all the legitimate criticisms of Trump. You have to be in the throes of some sort of toxic delusion in a toxic cult to believe that Donald Trump has ever been, in any sense, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, or ethically fit to be president of the United States.
Okay, now that's the part they're playing. The next part they're not playing anymore, which I'll play in a second. But Bob Costas is a jerk. I've known this for a long time. He went to high school with Rosie O'Donnell, Bob Costas. But he did an interview with Jerry Seinfeld Jerry Seinfeld did an interview with him on television, and it was when Seinfeld was going off the air, and Jerry Seinfeld was doing a publicity tour promoting the end of Seinfeld, and he was in studio with Bob Costas. This must have been live. I remember this. It was so crazy. And Jerry Seinfeld, who's a nice guy who gets along with everybody, did not like Bob Costas. And he said, Bob Costas, oh, you've been on the show before, and he says, yeah. He said, the last time I was on the show was when Seinfeld was starting, and he says, you did me a favor having me on. It was a big deal to be interviewed by you back then. He says, now I'm doing you a favor. And he said, just think about that. I'm doing you a favor now, Bob Costas. And I thought, wow, that's kind of strange and snippy. And now I understand hearing this. Bob Costas is an egomaniac. So anyway, the media's playing that clip, but they're not playing the second half of it, which I'm playing right now. This is Bob Costas, the rest of his delusional Trump derangement syndrome suffering thought.
But his supporters are locked in on that. There is no cult of Joe Biden. Just let me finish this thought, Michael. Even if he had not run explicitly with a pledge that he would be a one-term president, even if halfway through this term he had said, look, I've done my job, I have some policy successes, I'll continue to do my job, and now the Democrats can get, as I said before, some people up in the bullpen and sort through it. He had a chance to be seen as a statesman and a patriot. Now his legacy is likely to be that of a man whose hubris prevented him from seizing the moment in an appropriate way, and at best, he can squeak by Trump, that's at best, or he could lose to Trump and subject the nation to 4 more years of this kind of ongoing insanity, or if he squeaks by, it's very likely that he cannot complete his second term. He'd be 86.
Okay, so Bob Costas, he's talking to Smear Kanish on CNN. He really is upset, not at Trump, but at Biden. That Biden, he said Biden said he was going to be a one-term president, he's too old, all this stuff. So, they've cut out all that criticism. This is the fake news media, people. This clip of him calling us a toxic cult has gone viral. But the part of Bob Costas trashing Biden and calling for Biden to drop out, they've cut that part out of it. That's why they're fake news. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
They take the Crowder Center stage on March 7th. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame duo, the Righteous Brothers. Bill Medley and Bucky Hurd will perform some of their biggest hits, including
Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 5.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 99 FM, and anywhere in the world.
All right, call us on hold standby. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Now, I saw Mike Lindell at CPAC over the weekend. You know, they're doing to, or trying to do to Mike Lindell what they're trying to do to Trump. Take all his money. Right? He got that ruling last week, $5 million ruling against him. That's like the smallest judgment against him. The other ones have been like tens of millions of dollars. You know, and he's a millionaire. Trump's a billionaire. But they're trying to put him out of business. They're trying to break him financially like they've done Trump. Why? Because he stands up for this country. He stands up for the MAGA movement. He stands up for President Trump. Mike Lindell has extended free shipping with our promo code Kane on all products at MyPillow.com, no matter how large, no matter how small. Plus, you get the special deal. For example, the MyPillow 2-inch mattress topper, 50% off. I have the 2-inch mattress topper on my guest bed. I slept on it a couple nights last week. My wife was a little sick. I didn't even know it was the 2-inch mattress topper. My wife told me. The one on my bed is the 3-inch 2.0. It is great, and it's 50% off. Comes in every mattress size. So, as an example, you get the 50% off the mattress topper plus free shipping with our promo code Kane. But no matter how small of an item, if you buy just the neck pillow, you get the discount and free shipping. Or if you buy, you know, something heavy like the bathrobes or something, you get free shipping too. And by the way, no matter how much you order, so you can really load up, free shipping's a massive discount. So use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, or order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane. You want to go back to the phone, Steve? What do you want to do? All right, we'll take a call or two, and then I got a couple more things that I want to get into. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing there, Brian? This is Angela Antonio Mosia Sistrom. But you know something? I think what I really think is you really need to pay attention to the migrants they're not migrants, they're illegal aliens.
Correct.
Because there's a guy on doing a TikTok, and he's going to him speaking in Spanish and English, and all of these illegal aliens are saying they're voting.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad they're in blue states where that would be a wasted effort. All right. Now I wanted to play this. They're talking a lot. You've probably seen this over the news. This in vitro fertilization ruling in Alabama, and I'm what the ruling says. I want to play this clip from NBC's Meet the Press where they're just having a meltdown over this. What they're saying with the in vitro that the embryos are people, human, they're alive. And the left are just freaking out because, people have these embryos in freezers all over the place, and, you just can't go in and destroy them anymore, at least not in Alabama. And I got to tell you, we are being invaded by illegals at a rate twice the birth rate. Our childbearing year people, most of them are gay or non-binary. They're not having sex that results in pregnancies. So we need every American baby born as possible. But So these frozen embryos, they're saying, they used to call them, if you remember, test tube babies, right? That's what they used to call them, test tube babies. But it's in vitro fertilization now, the embryos, they're getting personhood. And of course, like the Nazis, the National Socialist Nazis, the Democrat Socialists want to decide what life is worthy, what life is not, who is a person, who is not. And listen to this discussion. This is just so bizarre. This is Meet the Press yesterday. And this was a major humiliation. Christian Welker, she's the hostess. She's sitting at a table, and one of her guests is Chuck Todd, who got fired, who used to host the show. So they took the show away from him, gave it to Christian Welker, and then they make him come in and be a guest on what used to be his own show that he was fired from. It's a big humiliation. But anyway, they're talking about the test tube baby ruling in Alabama. I think they stopped calling it test tube babies because baby was involved. So they wanted to take baby out of it, so they say IVF. Listen.
You were on the ground in Alabama.
The human impact of this cannot be underscored. The trauma that I talked to when I witnessed women say that they spent years and thousands of dollars preparing for IVF only to get calls from their doctors the day before that their procedures were canceled. People are going to remember that no matter what happens with the legislation. And let's remember, Republicans took a week for them to really coalesce around the idea that they supported IVF. And
So they had to check with the groups to see what they could say.
I was in an IVF clinic where one of the doctors told me she was having the hardest conversations of her life. I saw her physically feel relief when Donald Trump said that he was going to come out, but she said it was head spinning to think that politics was the reason why she can now tell her patients that they can have their dreams again, that they won't be crushed.
Okay, now what they're saying, I don't know what they're saying about Trump. They're very hysterical. What they're saying in Alabama is that embryos are people. They're saying that embryos are children. And the Democrats, I remember, Scott Peterson, who's in prison right now for killing his wife, Scott Peterson, they're bringing that case up again. There's this whole group of people, mostly women, that think he's hot or something, who say he didn't do it, that she confronted some robbers down the street the day before, and they did it. And it, even though Scott Peterson went fishing 80 miles from his house on Christmas Day in the same body of water that they found his dead wife in, that's just a coincidence. Those burglars set him up. Scott Peterson, his case is in the news again this week because they're trying to get him a new trial. But he was found guilty of 2 murders: his wife Lacey Peterson and their unborn child. And I remember when Scott Peterson was charged with 2 murders, the Democrats, they had a fit. They were trying to get California to drop the second murder charge on the unborn son because they didn't want to establish personhood for an unborn child. Do you remember that, Steve? I mean, they were on a tear. And you don't hear about that too much anymore. I remember that. So these same people that are telling you that embryos are not children, and you should be able to just go into the freezer and keep the door open and let them thaw out and die and all that stuff because these are not people, are the same people that didn't want Scott Peterson charged with a double homicide. These are real twisted people we're dealing with when you're dealing with the left. Okay, the left. There's a lot of grief going on. On The View, Sonny Hostin was saying that these Republicans, these MAGA, they just support embryos because they want more white babies born, and they think, and this is something rich people do, so these are white embryos, and it's all about race. The left are losing on every front, and Trump is winning in historic numbers, and so you're going to see a lot of tears, not just at the Javits Center on election night. You're going to see a lot of tears now through Inauguration Day from liberals. Now, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. If you'd like to call in, please do. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I've been told, Steve, that our phones that were not working for the first half of the show, that they were working all weekend long, and they were only not working during this program. Isn't that something? Sabotage. What else can I make of it? Sabotage. That's right. That's okay. Let me tell you, the show must go on. The show will go on. And nothing that people do are going to stop this show from continuing, okay? So that, to me, that's just a confirmation that what we're doing is effective, right? We we could go without phones for 2 weeks. I wouldn't get. We did a thing once years ago. This was your idea, not mine, but we went a whole month without taking calls. I don't know if you remember this. A whole month without taking calls. And, I used to do, when I first started doing a live show, I was on the air from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., okay? And when you're on the air from 3 to 6 a.m., you don't typically get, now I'd get calls, like, I remember I used to have the repo man call. There was this guy, he would call me sometimes from the cell phones of the cars he was repossessing, the car phones, and the bartenders and the club managers and stuff. But I used to do a 3-hour show 6 days a week in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And during those hours you don't get. So I could do a show 5 days a week for a month without taking any calls. But when I find out that the phones are working for every show except this one, there's something in play. Yeah, I don't know. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it.
No, I'm serious. That's true. That's what pisses me off when it happens.
From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good day, everybody. Hope you're off to a great start. We'll see a daytime high today in the mid-70s with plenty of sunshine. It's dry, a brisk start, but again, it's going to be beautiful with high pressures on it. I'm going to PDF sometime first morning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Major expressway still crash free at this time, and expect southbound traffic on 95 southbound between Hyperlux and Road Points and Beach Boulevard. Just off a crash on Points and Beach Boulevard just east of the Turnpike. A new incident now on Okeechobee Boulevard just west of Pamela Road, and an accident now clearing further south on Broward County University Drive southbound at Pembroke. This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here with rivals and parts you need for the prices you want. eBay guarantees fitness guarantee can fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die live at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. That's traffic for small.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the poker room at PBKC for cash games, high-hand giveaways, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments. You can also play your favorite table games like Ultimate.
This has never...
Poker with just a $5 minimum, and that is 7 weeks of free. Enjoy all the racing and sports action in the paddock with over 140 new HD TVs, exceptional eats, and full mall. More information.
Hey, check your phone. Someone's on your doorstep and is trying to look for a way into your home. If no one is monitoring your home, then you need to call Sloman's now. Sloman's is giving you a free, $1,500 value home security system with professional installation. You use their low-cost central station monitoring. Call 1-833-283-5050 and learn more about this incredible limited-time total home security package. You're getting an LED touchscreen keypad, a motion detector, 10 entry points, a lifetime service plan, professional installation, and backup battery. Call 1-833-283-5050 and you'll also get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. That's 1-833-283-5050. Sloman's, the difference is human.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too.
Yes. Yes.
WNERS. And we'll see you Saturday, March 2nd for Ultimate Motown, featuring the Motowners. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West LA, and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez. When I first meet him, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Steve Kane here. You know, I was just thinking during the, I don't like thinking about this, but we're talking about saboteurs. You know, during the, it's been 4 years, and this one just, I was just thinking about this during the break because of this thing with the phone. It was, this Democrat stole my cat and called me with just disgusting, harassing phone calls about what they were doing with my cat, Ruby, because I had a MAGA flag hanging off my garage. And I don't want to tell you what they were saying, but it was terrible stuff, and they felt so justified in what they were doing. I'm not going to say what they were torturing me by telling me what they were doing to my cat. They first tried to get me shot. I don't know if I told this part of the story, but this was 4 years ago, and I had the Trump 2020 flag hanging off my garage, and my cat Ruby went missing. This is why I got the doorbell camera now. This happened now, I'd have this person. Maybe we should go through the camera footage, Mike, after the show and find out who was here since the last show went off the air. First, I put up missing cat photos in the neighborhood. And first they called me, and it was the same person because I recognized the voice. And they told me that they saw my cat behind their house, and they gave me an address. So I drove to the house, and it was not they were trying to get me to go in someone's backyard without permission, which could get you shot. You know, that's the first thing they did. And they did that more than once. I couldn't believe. And then, since that didn't work, they started calling me, telling me terrible things they were doing to my cat because I had the MAGA. When they were telling me about the cat being behind these neighbors' houses and such, they were being nice. But when I didn't do it, because I'm not stupid, even though I did drive by the street and tried to, you know, then things turned ugly, and they started calling me, telling me what they were doing to my cat because of the Trump flag on my garage. You know, Democrats are terrible people. They're terrible people. And they feel fully justified in everything that they do. And this isn't unique to Trump. They've always been this way. They've always been terrible people who do terrible things. Like, you look at this thing. you hear how upset these ladies are on Meet the Press over the embryos being declared babies. You know, they're getting emotional, like I am with talking about my cat Ruby 4 years ago. And I still look for that cat in the neighborhood. I look in windows, I look under cars, you know, regardless of the things they told me. I thought no one could be that heartless, you know, to do the things they told me. But you hear how emotional they're getting over the embryos, and it makes you wonder, why are they so emotional? They have a personal connection to abortion, to destroying embryos or something. That's why they get so emotional about it. But we're the terrible people, and they feel totally justified. You know, this opposition leader in Russia, now it's being reported, I saw this over the weekend, that it's believed that he died of a blood clot, that he was not murdered by Putin. Now, don't look for the opposition leader in Russia. It's being reported now that he had a blood clot, and he died from a blood clot. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't see why Putin would have killed the guy. He had him locked up. He was getting some good publicity after the Tucker Carlson interview. He had No, he had him locked up, and he had good press. If he was murdered either by us or Zelensky, not Putin. But now it's being reported that he had a blood clot, and that may have been what killed him. I don't know. But I know this. In this country, the leader of the political opposition is Donald John Trump. Letitia James and Judge Engoron got his financials. They got his bank account balances. And Engoron came out with a judgment that's about equal to how much cash he has in the bank, $350-some million. They're trying to take all of his cash. They've arrested him. You know, Fannie Willis is in big trouble now. There's a major new development in this case, that her gigolo boyfriend was actually in charge of doing the hiring for her office. So this is long before the Trump case came up, that he was in charge of the hiring for her office, that he hired her whole staff. This is coming out now. Now, this is a few things about this. One, that court case with Fannie and her boy toy gigolo, they were under oath. They got sworn in. So they perjured themselves. And I heard some legal experts talking about this. They said that means her entire office is that fruit of the poison tree thing. That not only will Fannie and her gigolo boy toy have to be removed from the case, but that the entire district attorney's office staff will have to be fired and replaced, and a new district attorney will have to be brought in. That means the whole case is gone. Gone. Okay? And, well, yeah. But look at what they're doing. He is the leader of the political opposition. They're trying, President Trump. They're trying to seize all of the cash he has for two reasons. One, every one of these court cases, he has a legal team that he's paying for. So they want to take away his money so that he can't pay his legal team. He's got 5-6 legal teams with these cases, right? Maybe more. And he's also funding his campaign with his money. He's got, so they make a judgment to seize all of his cash so he can't fund his campaign or pay for other defenses. This is oppression of the senior leader of the political opposition. And it's not just him. I saw Peter Navarro speaking at CPAC on Saturday. Peter Navarro is going to prison. We've had him on the show a few times. He's going to prison because he worked for Trump. I was talking about Mike Lindell. They've got this $5 million judgment is not the only judgment he's had. It's the smallest of all of them he's had. They're doing the same thing to him. So, the opposition leader and people in his circle in this country, unless they play ball, right? Like a lot of them do, they go to jail or they're bankrupted. So it's hard for me to get concerned about the oppression of getting upset about the oppression of political opposition in Russia is like trying to get upset about the border not being secure with Russia and Ukraine. We have our open border here. How can you be concerned about the sovereignty of Ukraine's border when our border's gone by design? How can you be concerned about political opposition treatment in Russia when this government is arresting and bankrupting political opposition in this country? Donald John Trump. It's absurd. Now, and then you got Nikki Haley. Let me play this. I wasn't going to play this, but this woman's insane. I mean, this is, you would think it's a victory speech she gave in South Carolina.
Never been about me or my political future.
Then why is she saying me and my in the same sentence if it's not about her?
We need to beat Joe Biden in November. I don't believe Donald Trump can beat Joe Biden.
Well, how is she going to beat anyone when she can't beat Trump? Right? He just beat her. He's beat her 3 times. He got 60% of the vote. So, and by the way, he really got more of the vote than that, much more. But she's got Democrats and independents voting for her. She's gonna continue on.
In Michigan.
If she loses on Super Tuesday, she's going to stick in the race. Now, I do want to tell you guys, though, because I mentioned it about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. Guys, take advantage of this. I have it at home. We have it here at the radio station. And, you know, what they're offering is amazing. Sloman's is giving you a free home security system that's valued at $1,500 with professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. This is a limited time deal. They're giving you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 10 entry points, a lifetime service plan, professional installation, and a backup battery, and also a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Here's the number: 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the...
All right, and it's time for the first gold and precious metals report of the week from the offices of William Youngerman in Boca. William Youngerman, how the metals starting off this week?
Starting off just a little bit lower after a big rally on Friday, pushing gold up $11.10. After trading as high as $2,042, gold closed out the week at $2,035.30. As I said, that's up $11.10 on Friday. Silver was up 19 cents, closing out the week at $22.92 the ounce. Platinum gained $1 at $899, and palladium was up $6 at $956. This morning we see gold just a little bit low, down $1.30 right now at $2,034. Silver down 32 cents at $22.60 the ounce. Platinum down $18 at $881. And palladium down $8 at $948. So starting off a little bit lower, but still well above.
Absolutely, and things are good to buy. Is the best buy still in the gold, still the 1 ounce Australian kangaroos?
Yeah, we still like those the best, although the 1 ounce gold bars are great values too, but the kangaroos are still the best.
Can you tell people a little bit about the kangaroos? Why do you say they're the best buy?
They're 1 ounce pure gold. They're encapsulated to protect them. Yes, when you get into 4/9 pure gold, it's very soft and they can easily get scratched. These are nicely encapsulated by the mint, and that protects them. They're also non-reportable as far as 1099s when you go to sell them, as bars and Krugerrands and other objects are reportable. And they also are a beautiful product. They're very easy to trade, and we sell thousands of them. So they're
And you're getting more gold for your money than with other gold too. So it's a great deal. So William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. And by the way, no matter where you're located, you can do business with William Youngerman. Wherever you're located in Florida, America, or the world, he opens up at 10 a.m. His number, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, in the lobby directly across from the bank. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
Take on the social justice.
All right, I mean, I blinked and the show's like almost over. We just have a few short minutes left, and I haven't even gotten to really any of my show prep today, but I do want to say that if you or someone you know or love suffers from neuropathy, you need to call Lighthouse Medical Center. You know, Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano, like William Youngerman, no matter where you're located, they can help you. You know, they understand that if you're suffering from neuropathy, it's probably hard for you to get around, right? Even if you're local and you can't make it into the office, they can help you. But if you're somewhere else in Florida or the country, they can help you too. And, you know, we found Lighthouse Medical because, Steve, you had neuropathy. We had the cruise coming up, and the last year's cruise, this was before last year's cruise, and you weren't sure you'd be able to go because, you know, you can't get out of bed with these neuropathy symptoms, but part of it is dizziness. And you're like, I can't go, and you're like, I can't go out on the ocean. I got all these dizziness issues. And we went and searched, and it took a while. We found Lighthouse Medical. They have a treatment for neuropathy that works. Don't believe what your doctors tell you. I'm going to give you the number. When you call them, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. If you missed the number, just go to their website, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Yes, good morning.
Curiosity, so Donald Trump selling shoes and trading cards, right? That's all the moves of a skilled billionaire, okay? He needs your money, everybody out there. Send it to him. He needs it, okay? A billionaire whining about money, you know why? Because he is a professional scam artist. By making other people go to jail for him.
Okay. Yeah.
All these people go to jail around Donald Trump. Oh, it's because, oh my God, the political media, the weaponization of government. How about just because he's a bad person and everything's finally catching up?
Mm-hmm. Okay, now with the shoes, you what's your problem with the golden Trump shoes?
I just can't believe that somebody of Trump's stature, that everybody says, I mean, the guy, it's cheap.
So do you wear do you walk around barefoot? What do you have on your feet?
Guess what? Like you would tell me, whatever I wear is none of your damn business.
No, I wear shoes. I'm wearing Vans right now. All right, I can't skateboard anymore, but I still wear the Vans. Okay, there's a lot of money in shoes, especially if you're selling them for thousands of dollars a pair. Donald.
$400.
Why don't you tell the truth and just admit that you're jealous of Trump?
Yeah.
That he's a tremendous entrepreneur, and that he can make money under any circumstances. He's a money machine, and you're jealous.
I thought, you know what, Steve? Okay, yeah, Steve, I'm trying to get it out, okay, like you do most of the time. Listen, listen, Steve, you want me to answer, okay? It's because, Donald Trump, what is there to be jealous of?
Melania, $10 billion, the presidency. Okay, let me ask you this, because you seem to know more about business than I do, Tom, okay? You seem to know about business.
I do.
Okay, you know more about business than you. Well, that's good. That means you're the expert. Now, I'm wearing my vein. Well, you know more than me, right? You're talking about the shoes. Let me ask the questions, okay, and then you can respond. I'm wearing Vans right now. These cost $60 a pair. Donald Trump's golden high tops retail at about $400. They're selling for thousands of dollars online. Why are Trump's shoes retailing at $400 a pair, and my Vans are retailing at $60 a pair?
Because he's a gimmick.
No, you don't understand business. Because they've got his name on them. It's like my $24,000 MAGA hat. Right? If that's a MAGA hat I make and I sign, it's worth the price of the hat. But because Donald Trump had a specialty hat made and signed it, it's worth $24,000. See, things are valued the way that Oh yeah, I could have sold it for $30,000 at the event. Okay, in fact, people wanted that hat pretty bad. See, this is how things are valued. Okay, maybe you know more than me. What decides the value of something? How is the value of something decided?
The rarity of it.
No, not the rarity. No. What determines the value of anything is what people are willing to pay for it. And my shoes, my Vans, people are willing to pay $60 for. Donald Trump's shoes, which he really undervalued at retail, people are willing to pay $400 for retail. They're selling for thousands online. So that tells me that there is a demand for anything that Trump has touched or has his signature on or is behind.
You know what? The sicko people that would pay for that, Donald Trump could probably poop in a can, and the people would pay money for it. Why? Because there's sickos out there like you that give him the opportunity to sell crap like that.
But see, you may say you know more about business than I do, but I got the $24,000 hat for nothing. I didn't pay. Everybody else paid $24,000 or more for it. I got it for nothing. So maybe I know more about business than you.
Yeah, maybe just because you kick so much butt, you're bound to get a piece of poop out of it once in a while.
Why do you have this obsession with feces? This is the third time you've said that word. Do you just have an obsession with it, or are you trying to get hung up on?
You will literally hang up on somebody for the littlest thing and then go ahead.
Yeah, like this. Boom. Like I just hung up on you. Correct. You're on the air. Can that guy that sabotaged the phones come back and disconnect them? The show was better when the phones were sabotaged. Who did the sabotage? Have you looked through the video footage yet, Mike? All right, maybe I will do that after the show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is JJ from Mass. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, Steve. Sound like that guy's got some kind of a Biden diaper fetish or something with all the poop stuff he's going on. But I was going to talk about the illegal immigration situation, and I'm just thinking about this because it is, with the speed and the veracity that they have brought these people across the border, I mean, they're not trying to, camouflage what they've done. I mean, it's beyond obvious. I mean, they have, travel agencies and brochures and, restaurants and all these countries down there are making money. But it just seems to me that I think this was the Democrat plan all along. But I think what happened was in 2020, we all know that Trump won the Democrats got to look at the real data. And I think when they did that, it scared the hell out of them.
Well, what's happened with the Democrats is, see, the MAGA movement is the first large-scale conservative movement. But what's happened? We've picked up all these former groups that the Democrats took for granted: blacks, gays, the youth vote with Charlie Kirk and Ramaswamy. And these are groups that they took for granted. Look at the villages, seniors. We have seniors now. So they've lost all their demos. So they're bringing in this peasant class, making them dependent upon them, and they think that'll be their new base.
That's the point I was trying to make. And I think what happened was, I just don't think that I don't think they had the plan to do it as fast. Because they saw that data in 2020, they were shocked to see that, and the evil, Sith lords behind the Democrats actually running the show said, we've got to speed things up. Now, there's no way they're going to get away with it in the factual sense, because I believe Trump, like I've said, that I believe Trump's going to get up towards 100.
Yes.
Happening because you can't treat our homeless and our lower economic, whether they're white, black, Hispanic, whatever color, religion anybody is, you can't take our lower economic and you can't treat them like trash while you're bringing in illegal aliens and treating them like they're on a 5-star, 5-diamond cruise.
Right.
And for those people not to realize what's going on, I mean, it's sort of like the federal government, 30 pieces of silver is what they've turned into. They are 365 peeing on everybody's back, especially the poor, and trying to tell them that it's all sunshine and rainbows, and they're just not buying it. The jig is up, the lie is over, they have figured it out. So
well, what's happened is, this is what's happened, okay? This government is run by two groups of people, the deep state and the donors, okay? And the deep state and the donors have lost control of the country because of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. So they're trying to regain control of the country, and they're doing it with this as their attempt. That's what they're attempting to do.
Is the key word. Yeah, and I just wanted to say my best to Laura Loomer. Do your best to be safe.
Well, now I want to talk about this again. Laura Loomer got on a bus at Darien Pass that was filled with illegal Africans. And she put this video up. I tweeted this. If you go to my Twitter, Brian Craig Show, you guys can retweet this. It's been seen by over 4 million people. Not that she needs my help. But Laura Loomer is taking a chance with her life that I've not seen a reporter do in decades. And it's pretty, when she faced down, I mean, she went on the bus and said, "Who do you work for?" He called up his supervisor from the cartels and said, "What do I do with her? She's filming me."
Yeah, dangerous. I hope I know you said that wasn't live. So I hope, because if they decide, I mean, when I think about this, I don't think they want to hurt any Americans while they're making so much cash right now doing all this, because that could bring the heat down, even from a Biden administration. Possibly, maybe not. But I just don't think they want the...
Well, I do know this, okay, that she has the cell phone number of people that are feet away from President Trump. So if she runs into any trouble, she can call and they'll, make it known that she's in trouble. So, but that she is not down there with a team of military people guarding her. She's down there with a couple of guys that, if you saw these guys, you'd be like, "Are you kidding me?"
What she's doing. A lot of guys, got to give her a lot of credit.
Yeah, she's risking her life. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Well, listen, we're out of time for today. Today's show went by in a blink. I can't believe that it's 9 o'clock already. I really can't. I know today's been a serious show, but there's a lot of serious stuff going on. My name's Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America, and God bless Trump.
WSFS 104.3.
All right, guys, I got to run. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and if you're not, subscribed, you'll be